Hello, hello. Oh, okay, that's working. Okay. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone had a really good lunch. So we have 10 minutes. I'm not going to waste too much time. I guess we're just going to get into it. So hi, I'm Sweeky. I work in Microsoft in the .NET MAUI team, and this talk is about a cool feature that we have in .NET MAUI that helps you sort of use handlers to do a lot of bunch of cool, magical things. So let's get into it. So we're talking specifically about control customization. Quick overview for those who don't know what .NET MAUI is. It's a SDK that lets you write cross-platform code. So you write your code once, you're getting apps for iOS, Android, Mac Catalyst, and Windows Desktop. So within that, you're dealing with a lot of different controls. And so today I'm going to talk about how easy it is to customize those controls in .NET MAUI. So a quick little overview here. So you have what we provide you just out of the box, which is a cross-platform control. When you call our code, we call down into the native code, and we render a native iOS button, a native Android button. But sometimes that's, not enough. So we'll get into that a little bit later today. Any friends watching from our good days of Xamarin and who are looking to sort of migrate what used to be custom renderers in Xamarin into handlers in .NET MAUI, just the cool part is the code kind of will look similar, looks the same. Structurally, you had your 3 different files in each project. You kind of just move them into the single project structure into your platform folders. So back in the old days when you had to do this is just a small snippet of how complicated your renderer file used to be. But now, in .NET MAUI, this is super simplified in the form of handlers. You're just making a static dictionary, setting up only the properties that you need, much, much easier to access, and you have a much better time. So let's see how we made that possible and how it is possible for you to do it. So advantages of using this new handler architecture is improved performance. There's a lot of work that's been done in how these handlers now hook up into your .NET MAUI apps, so it is 100% way more performant than the old renderer code used to be. It is much, much easier to maintain. So we look through the different options you have to create handlers now, and the way they are set up, it's just simply property-based or an event-based, or even if you're just subclassing a whole control, it is much, much easier to maintain your code now. Is super easy to access native. You can simply just adjust a small little color on a control or a small little adjustment on a property on a control. Super easy to get to that. You don't have to spin up a whole new class file and all that kind of stuff. You can do it right then and there where you have your control sort of specified. And you have a lot of options now, which we will look at specifically in this talk. So back in the old days in Xamarin, if you wanted to customize a native control, custom renderer was the only way to do it, and you had to do the complicated, long file setup. You don't need to do that anymore. It's as easy as a single line of code as of today. So a question that comes to me and my team and a lot of folks who use .NET MAUI is often, how do I make a handler? But I want to flip this question a little bit. I think it's not about just making a handler anymore. The question now is, what exactly is this customization you are looking for? Like, what exactly are you trying to achieve here? So based on what that question, your answer is, that will help you pick the path you want to take to make your new custom handlers. So let's talk about those different ways of doing it. So the first way that we have, and which is my favorite way, which is the easiest, is using a mapper. So mappers essentially provide you hooks to either come in and modify your control before .NET MAUI renders it. You can do it to an existing mapper, so it kind of just goes in with a regular lifecycle. You can also do it after the control mappings from .NET MAUI have come in. You can add another extra layer of customization to it. So within that, let's talk about adding a new mapper. So on the left, you can see there is a regular text control, but there is an underline under it. And this is what you get out of the box default for Android. On iOS, you don't get that underline. So if you're trying to match up the two controls to make it look like the control on the right, all you need to do now is simply add a mapper. So you append the mapper, one line of code, put that in there, set the color to transparent, and that's it. So we're just adding a new mapper to the entry, and that's how easy it is now. This is one line of code. You just register this handler, and that's it. All your entries are fixed. Now let's talk about a little bit more modification. So on the left, you have the default slider. And what if you want to make it look like the slider on the right? So with a customized thumb button and the minimum and maximum color tints are different. Again, you can modify an existing mapper. So the tint color, the color of the slider is already set. All you want to do is just change that up. It's very simple. You just modify the existing mapper. Again, it's a single line of code. So to do this in the good old days of Xamarin Forms, you'd have to set up the whole giant file. Moving on, let's talk about a custom factory method. So what if you need to get more particularly, you need an instance of that control to modify a platform level query. So again, single line of code, you just go into the platform view, you get an instance of the control, modify all of the fields that you need natively, and render it up. So that's a custom factory. Now, a more deeper level to this, let's subclass the handler. This is a little bit more intense. If you need something more complicated, like you want to go into an event lifecycle, you need to register or deregister some events, this is what you want to do. So again, all you do is pull out the connect handler, disconnect handler, for example, attach whatever events that you need to, and you can disconnect it, and you're good to go. So the last one is, again, this is the closest it gets to making a custom renderer back from the Xamarin days, which is you create your whole control. So this involves, again, creating the whole view from scratch, setting up all your code together. So again, option is available, but you don't need to use it right now. So just as a quick, where did I need to go? There's where I needed to go. So quick recap. So when you're trying to pick what kind of control control handler you want to, custom handler you want to make, your options include just modifying a map or a single line of code, creating a custom factory platform view, again, a single line of code. You can subclass your handlers. That gives you a few more event life cycles you can hook into, or you can create a whole custom handler from scratch. And that's it. That is the magic of .NET MAUI handlers. Thank you for listening to my talk. If you have any questions, I'll be around there somewhere.